Hey everyone, thanks for clicking. This is Rocky and I hope all is going well. Apologies if my voice sounds a little bit off. I have a bit of a head cold right now, so I may come across a little bit muffled, so again, sorry about that. Alright, so I finally saw Deadpool and I could not be happier. Pretty sure I had a smile on my face the entire time. Right from the opening credits, you get the tone of the movie, and anyone that is a fan of Deadpool comics had to feel right at home. Alright, so this review will have some spoilers as I will be talking about some specific moments of the movie and how they relate to the comics. So yeah, there's your fair warning right there. So Deadpool was directed by Tim Miller, and this was actually his first feature film, and what a hell of a film to come out without the gate. Alright, so the story is told from Deadpool's point of view, with flashbacks intertwined with the real-time events. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, hands down. I cannot imagine anyone else in the role at this point. Through the flashbacks, we do get to see a glimmer of goodness in Wade, as well as his first meeting with Vanessa. The relationship was played up heavily, as it is pretty much Wade's motivation throughout the entire movie. From wanting to have as much sex as possible with her, to wanting to save her from Ajax. She is always on his mind. In the comics, Vanessa was obsessed with Wade and would constantly stalk him in different guises. The movie flips this as we see Wade stalking and creeping on Vanessa. I actually thought this was a pretty nice touch and definitely helped with the narrative that they had set forth. Alright, let's talk about Vanessa, as this was one of the big changes from the comics, as in the movie they make no mention of her being a mutant. Now, in the comics she had the power to copy another person, completely including any mutant powers they might have. Now, is it possible that she is a mutant and they chose not to explore that? Sure. There were many moments in the movie where we see her with different hairstyles as well as length, so that could have been meant to allude that she could change, or I might just be reading too much into it. Either way, I enjoyed her character in the movie, and especially how crazy she was and how much she matched Wade Wilson. Now, they did keep in line with Wade electing for some experimental procedure to cure his cancer. Though in this case there's no actual mention of Weapon X or hospice, so it's kept pretty vague and open up to interpretation. It is definitely possible that Ajax was injecting people with a derivative of Wolverine's DNA to try and awaken their X genes, much like they used a derivative of Wolverine's DNA in the comics to basically give Wade his powers. Mutants do become a pretty heavy focus in this movie, which is fine, and we did get a shot of one in the hospice area that I was pretty sure was meant to be Mara, which is so cool. Pretty sure they went this route to fold them even more completely into the X-Men universe, as well as after the events of Days of Future Past, the status of the Weapon X program is up in the air, as remember Mystique was actually taking on the persona and appearance of Stryker at the end of that movie. The experiments are conducted by Ajax, so it does appear that they kind of merged his character with Dr. Kilbrew from the comics, which is fine as it helped to streamline the narrative. Now, more than likely there are people above Ajax, but we don't meet any of them in the movie. Ajax is also shown as a mutant, as opposed to having multiple cybernetic implants. He basically has the same powers, but this way they could cut down on FX costs, which is, okay. Overall, I found his character presented well, though emotionally he did seem a bit flat at times, which may have been done on purpose, as he does mention not being able to feel anything at all anymore. Still, I would have liked to have seen a bit more anger and craziness every time he was called Francis. Pretty sure we will probably see him again. Remember, it's a comic book movie, right? I felt like the supporting cast all hit the right notes with their characters and definitely immersed themselves in the craziness that is Deadpool. I was definitely a skeptic when it came to TJ Miller as Weasel, and thought he might go way over the top, and I'm happy to say I was wrong. He has a great showing here as Wade's sort of friend, and by having their friendship already established, it saved time that could be better spent on shooting and stabbing things. Blind Owl served her purpose, though sadly we don't get to spend much time with her and really have no idea how exactly she became roomies with Wade. So they may have cut some scenes or deliberately left it vague to explore later on in future movies. I had a laughing fit during the scene of her putting the cabinet together, as well as Deadpool's baby hand rubbing her face. Okay, I had a laughing fit for pretty much the whole movie. Alright, so Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead were amazing in the movie. This is an older Colossus than we have seen in the movies before, and he exudes big brotherness as well as just a nice guy with a great accent. Their mission is pretty much to recruit Wade into the X-Men, as well as direct him towards a heroic path. Well, that is Colossus's mission, as Negasonic is a recruit and just kind of along for the ride. We do get a fun fight between Deadpool and Colossus, as he distracts Wade, which allows Francis to get away. Okay, so less a fight and more an example of what happens when bone hits organic steel. Yes, Wade literally became the one-legged man in the ass-kicking contest, and later a one-armed bandit. Pretty much my favorite fight scene was Colossus and Negasonic versus Angel Dust. For this to work, they had to seriously up Angel's power, as in the comics I think at most she could lift like 1 or 2 tons, and I do not believe she actually had any level of invulnerability. She puts a beat down on Colossus, and even uses his honor against him. At one point she has a wardrobe malfunction, and rather than take advantage, Colossus waits for her to cover up, and what does he get? A comment that he is sweet, and then a fist to the nuts. The line delivery in this scene was just awesome, and the look on his face in response to the hit was beyond funny. Now with Negasonic, they changed her power to more match her name, as she's able to generate massive bursts of energy around her body, which she uses in a variety of ways, including squishing some of Ajax's men, yes, she killed him, I swear, a modified fastball special with Deadpool, and pretty much obliterating the old ghetto helicarrier. Yes, that's right, that was meant to be a shield helicarrier where the final fight took place. Out of all the side characters, I really wanted to see more of Negasonic, as I seriously enjoyed her back and forth with Deadpool. I mean, they pretty much squeezed every ounce of teenage angst into her lines, including calling Wade old, and it just made for a whole lot of fun. So yeah, let's get her in the sequel, okay? A big concern a lot of people had was in regards to breaking the fourth wall, and I'm glad to say it was handled well. And rather than limiting it, they show examples throughout the whole movie, though like in the comics, it does not really start until after Wade is experimented on and tortured. Also, it increases as time goes on, and they give us everything from subtle looks to moving the camera and even commenting on Ryan Reynolds' looks. So yeah, I was not disappointed with this at all. Though as a side note, let's get some different voices going on in his head next time. Along with breaking the fourth wall, we get a lot of Easter eggs and references to pretty much everything. Rob Liefeld references, Green Lantern, Wolverine Origins, Deadpool, and so much more. Pretty sure I need to see this movie like 10 more times to catch everything, and even then, who knows. Overall, the movie had great acting, writing, choreography, and effects. Honestly, this is the funnest time I've had with a comic book movie since Guardians of the Galaxy, and in fact I enjoyed Deadpool even more. This was an honest and true take on the character, and you could tell they genuinely cared about Deadpool. Now I know some are already starting the arguments of this being better or worse than Batman v Superman and Civil War. Can we just take a moment and appreciate that we have a mainstream R-rated comic book movie that has absolutely killed expectations? The R rating has been feared by pretty much any studio making a comic book movie. Deadpool shows this can succeed with the right property and paying respect to that property. I know we've had other comic book based movies that have been rated R in the past, but this is the first I like to call a mainstream, as in Deadpool's pretty well known. I mean, he's popped up in quite a few of the animations lately, as well as his comics been around for quite a while. So that's what I mean by mainstream. So yeah, definitely we have had other R-rated comic book movies that have done well, but not to the degree that Deadpool has so far and will continue to do. So yeah, let's take a moment and just appreciate that fact, alright? So yeah, I highly recommend this movie to anyone that is into Deadpool, comics, and action movies in general. Yes, there is sex, tons of violence, and swearing, so if that is not your thing, you might want to avoid this one. But yeah, Deadpool is a solid movie all around, and is definitely in my top 5 comic book movies of all time. Alright guys, those are my thoughts on the Deadpool movie. Go and let me know your thoughts down below. If you have any questions on Deadpool or the movie itself, go and put those down in the comments below. I would love to have some conversations with you guys on this movie. And what I would enjoy more than anything else is for you guys to check out some more of my videos. So if you take a look at your screen, I've got a couple links for you to follow there. And if while watching you feel so inclined, definitely subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you on board. And if you have gone and subscribed already, thank you so very much. I really do appreciate it and hope you've been enjoying the videos. And all those links I mentioned will also be included in the interactive card on the top right of the screen, as well as down in the description below. And with that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.